guys, welcome again. We are on episode 22. We have a very special guest joining us today. I'm incredibly excited. If you don't know her, you haven't been following this punk culture ever. Like, I want to say, Talli, you've been in the scene probably since the 90s, maybe early 2000s. I remember seeing you very early on. I have friends, I'm not in Toronto, but I have friends who have spoken to you that live in the city. So actually, Terry, please welcome Talli Osborne, aka I guess Nubs. So thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is fun.
Hi Talli, it's nice to meet you.
Me too.
I also want to congratulate myself for probably the most awkward intro I have yet to pull. I'm gonna chalk it up to nerves tonight. I am nervous.
That's cute.
I did meet you last summer in the back of Campfire Anarchy in the backstage. We actually stood together next to Bronx, so it was a fantastic show. And
that was fun.
Yeah, and you are in the scene, very deep in the scene. Like, there's a show out there, you are at that show. And, you know, can you kind of talk about, like, the early days of punk for you and how you kind of got into the scene?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely in high school, you know, just not really fitting in, not really, liking any of the music you hear on the radio. And somebody let me listen to a NoFX song, actually. And I'd already known Green Day, and I'd already known Offspring and Blink-182, and those were good bands. But I remember I was sitting in the cafeteria and someone let me hear a NoFX song, and I just fell in love. I was like, "What is this?" And yeah, from there, like, the cool part about the 90s is all of the compilations. Like, I don't know how kids get into music now, because those compilations changed my life. Like the Fat Records comp, like, so many great bands. And you're just like, what's this band? And then you look up that band, and what's this band? And yeah, it was amazing. And then, you know, friends would make mixtapes, and I heard another NoFX song on a mixtape, and I was like, this band again. Who's this band? And well, who would have known they would change my life forever? But right? Isn't that crazy that my first, the first band, of course, again, I knew those punk bands, but the one that really made me feel things and feel like I was home was NoFX, and then, crazy.
I was NoFX and Bad Religion.
Yeah.
But I got into the same thing with the comps. I didn't like the music, was digging through a cardboard box at a record store, and it was just a bunch of punk comps. Yeah. And I think I got Punkorama 3 that day, maybe.
Punkorama.
And I got Bad Religion, Recipe for Hate, and I got what NoFX album did I get? White Trash, I think.
Oh yeah.
And then I was just I don't know, hooked ever since, you know?
Yeah, we all kind of grew up. I'm assuming we're all children of the 80s here.
Facts.
But we were really lucky to grow up in that early time of 90s skate punk. When that came out, that was kind of really incredibly influential to us. I know I'm from Northern Ontario, so where you were, I kind of grew up about 12 hours north of that.
Yep.
So music coming out to my spot, because, you know, Canada is very vast, not a lot of people, that didn't happen. And I think Punkorama 4 was definitely one of the first comps I had heard that kind of just sucked me in. And from there, little things I remember I had Pump Up the Volume, which came out when I was 17, and I had it on a tape on my parents' in my parents' car, and it got stuck. And it would switch back to the radio, so it was the only thing that could play in that car. But it got me hooked, and it got a lot of my friends hooked. So
Warped Tours, oh my gosh, my favorite day of the whole year.
Yep.
And they were so good.
So good. The last Warped Tour, I haven't been to one since 2001. That was my last Warped Tour.
I want to say 2006 for me, so it would have been at Park Place in Barrie those years.
Yeah,
regrets, so
I don't even remember what year it was. I remember all of them, but crazy.
Yeah, you would probably remember them when they were back at the Rogers Center, I guess would be the Sky Dome.
Yep. And then, what was that one? The outdoor one, not the Sky Dome. Before that,
Was that,
the Barry one?
yeah, so Barry had, for a while, until Molson Center got demolished, became a bunch of malls, but yeah, they had Sarstock go up that year, Green Day 2005, 2006, Warped Tours were there, and it's a beautiful, open, no shady spot except by a lake.
Oh yeah, so hot.
Yeah, I got heat stroke one year. It was brutal. And Laura's here, so I'm gonna actually admit her, and she can keep going. But yeah,
I remember Molson Park in Barrie. Yeah, and I remember the first one I went to was so dusty. Remember all the dust? And like my eyelashes were covered in dust, and my hair, my clothes, my skin. Like I ran into this guy that.
Hi. I'm so sorry I'm late, guys.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yes, you too. Actually, we met over the summer at Camp Anarchy.
And Laura was with me.
Yeah.
Hey, oh my God, so fun. Can we go back there right now?
Oh, I would love to. I would love nothing more.
No, me too.
All right, so what did I miss?
I was just saying this guy, we were talking about Warped Tour. I was saying this guy that I had a crush on in high school. I ran into him at the Warped Tour, and he had these amazing eyelashes, like quadruple times more amazing, like, I don't want to say than mine, but I have nice eyelashes. Like, but his were like, and I remember it was just like a wave of dust. Like his eyelashes were coated in dust from that Warped Tour. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that year was probably the first year I actually wore a mask for anything because you just could not breathe.
I didn't think that far ahead, but I should have.
Well, we just had our bandanas that we tied, and it was just a whoop right up because it was.
I remember I wore this bag across my chest. Remember that style? Like the and I got the gnarliest tan line, like the thickest across my whole chest. God, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, I remember when you walked away from those stages, you would just see this massive dust cloud just hanging over, and it just never came down. It just got thicker as the day went on.
Crazy.
That's terrible.
No, it was perfect. I would take
it was
fast.
I wouldn't change anything about that.
No.
Even though we're describing it like a bad time.
Ours was like this huge cement black-topped lot that was surrounded by water, so it would just sun would bake on you all day long.
Ours was at a theme park.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We have Darien Lake Warped Tours.
That would be fun. That would bring a whole other element into it.
I actually, when I came to Pittsburgh last September to see you, when I saw Rancid, it was at the Lots. It was like a water park.
Oh yeah,
It
used to be the sand.
Oh yeah, Sandcastle. It was like the Lots at Sandcastle or something like that. It was pretty cool.
Americans always do things like bigger and better, right? I can't. How insane is it doing it at a water park? I've never heard of that. Like, can you imagine?
It was pretty cool.
Like Warped Tour at like Canada's Wonderland. That'd be amazing.
It would be awesome.
Yeah. Just have it in.
Say like Camp 2025, right? We'll plan where we have it at like a theme park.
Yeah.
There we go. It'd be like carnival style.
All the carnival food, yum.
Oh my god.
Oh man, I could go for some carnival food.
All the
There's
tacos.
this place that opened here, and it's all carnival food. I'm like, ooh, I don't know.
We have
Like,
one here too.
I feel like carnival food's good at the carnival. I don't know if I want to eat carnival food for dinner.
Yeah, right.
So what all like carnival like, and that makes me think of like funnel cakes and what else? Like deep fried Oreos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all shit like that, which I love funnel cakes. I do like a good deep fried dough, let's be honest, but
Yeah.
I haven't been.
Deep fried anything I will eat.
True.
Yeah.
Now, moving on from that early punk scene, I don't know if this is a true story. I'd heard it this way. So I heard that the song was written and you had no idea about it until it was kind of out.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
I thought for sure you would have.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, but if you listen to the lyrics, it's like, hope she don't get mad. I hope she thinks the song is good, not bad. That is legit. Oh shit. You know? Yeah. Do you want to hear how I found out?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, basically, I don't know. Do you want me to tell you the story of how it all happened, or
Anything you want to tell us? Let's
I
hear
want to hear all of it, really.
it.
that's why you have me on here to talk about stuff, tell cool stories. Okay, so basically, I was about 20, I think, and had tickets to go see NoFX, no big deal, and I go with all these guy friends of mine from university, and I don't know, there was just something in me that night, and I was like, tonight I'm meeting them. That's what's happening. It's happening. And I'm not like, I don't care about famous people. Like, it's not about that. It wasn't like, oh my God, I gotta meet the man. I'm like, no, it was a matter of fact. Like, tonight it's happening. I'm meeting NoFX. So I went over to the Fat Records table, and back then it was always the same guy doing all the Fat merch, and it was this guy named Jay Walker. And I saw Jay, who I'd probably seen at a Lagwagon show previously, and Chicks Dig It before that or whatever. And I saw Jay, and I was like, hey Jay, how's it going? Good. He's like, what's up? And I'm like, I need to meet the band. Can you help me? Can you help me do this? So he goes and runs and grabs me 2 backstage passes, just as you do, like no big deal. I just asked for them. Like, what? It's weird to think back. I'm like, was it that easy? Really? I just remember him running to the backstage at the Cool House and then coming back with them. And the guy that I was like my crush and my best friend that I was there with, I asked him, like, do you want to come backstage? And he was like, I think he really had his mind set on getting wasted and going to the pit with his boys, right? And I was like, seriously, you're going in the pit to get wasted and say from backstage? Okay. So I took another friend. And so me and my other friend went backstage, and I couldn't see the band or anything. They're, in their dressing room. And then they went out on stage, and I watched the whole show side stage, and it was amazing. Like, I was side stage for the first time in my life, and I was singing every single lyric of every single song on stage with the band. You know what I mean? I'm like 20 years old, and I was just like, this is the best night of my life. This is the best night of my life. So we go backstage after the show, and my friend's like, should we go? And I was like, no, I haven't met them yet. Like, hello. So I see Hefe walk by, and then I see Melvin, and I said hi to Melvin, and I told him I love his yell, and he laughed and said thank you. And then I was like, I gotta meet Fat Mike. He's the one. But then I saw him standing in the doorway of like his dressing room, and I went over and I was like, hey, how's it going? And he bent down. I remember he was bent down on my level, and he's like, hey. And I said, hey. And he said, what happened to you? And I said, nothing. I was born like this. And he goes, cool. You coming to the bar after? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, okay. I was like, see ya. Like, it was so just like,
matter of fact.
whatever, And then I left, and I was like, we left the venue, and I was like, just and that was a really fun night. And then a year and a half later, the album came out. And for some reason, the guy that I took backstage, he got the album early, like the day before. And so he calls me up, and he has me on speakerphone, and he's like, Talli, do you have the new NoFX album yet? We're in Arizona. And I'm like, no, I'm going to get it tomorrow when it comes out. He's like, oh, I got it already. I got an advanced copy. I was like, cool. Is it awesome? He's like, he's like, I think there's a song about you on it. And I'm like, fuck off. He's like, no, I think it's crazy. Hold on. So he plays it for me, like just over speakerphone. And I hear like the weird lyrics, like, she may not have any arms, blah, blah, blah. Girl side stage, no arms, Toronto. I'm like, well, there's no one else like that. But also I'm like, why would they write a song about me? No. So I was like, I got to get the album tomorrow. So I get up, I go get the album, and I listen to the full song, and I'm like, holy fuck, I think that song's about me. What on earth? So what you do at that time, whatever year, 2001, is I went to the Fat Records website, and I clicked on Contact Us, as you do. Remember those days?
Right.
I said, hey there, my name is Talli Osborne, and I heard this song, and I think it might be about me, but I'm not really sure, but just wanted to say I think the song is great, and I hope you're having a great day. Like, that's really all I wrote. And then I was at my job, and I wasn't allowed to check my personal email there, but I did, as you do. And I remember I refreshed the page, and I see Fat Mike Dude at AOL.com, and I almost fucking barfed. This motherfucker wrote me back, like, not even just like the admin at Fat Records. It was like, Fat Mike. Now, for everybody who's watching, that's not his email address anymore, so don't even try. Very long time ago. Everyone's like, type. And so he said, hey, yeah, the song is about you. He said, after 12 albums, it's hard to think of things to write about, but after meeting you, I knew you're the perfect person, or he said, the perfect character to write a song about. And then he said, I'll save a spot side stage for you next time we're in town. And I was just like, what? Like, I think I was high on life for about a year after that. Wow. Like, every day was the greatest day. And then every show, I would get like from across the way, Nubs, or excuse me, are you Nubs? Or holy shit, I don't want to offend you, but are you Nubs? They're like, oh God, if she's not Nubs, it's like the worst thing to say.
You fuck with people?
Sometimes, but usually I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, can I hug you? And honestly, that shit happens every day still. Like, not every day now, we're in a fucking pandemic, but
right.
I'm not gonna lie, I went on this distanced date with this guy. We just met at a park and we just walked around, and then gross, I never saw him again. But we're walking down the street and I hear someone go, excuse me, and he's going to this guy, like, not me. Is that Nubs? Is that Nubs? And this guy's like, what? Because he's not a punk. And I'm like, what is happening? And I look, and he goes, are you Nubs? Like, just like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago. And I said, yeah. And he's like, oh my God, oh my God, that cat scared me. I was like, where's my cat? My cat's not that fluffy. He's like, oh my God, can I get a selfie? And then he made like my date take a photo of us. It was really cute. So yeah, like, it just gave me this instant stardom all over the world. And it's a pretty amazing thing. It's like most of the time super positive. Of course, it's never always positive on the internet, but it's pretty amazing. And like I said, I was like 14 years old listening to this amazing band called NoFX, and now, like, what?
That's
crazy.
Awesome. Now, apart from Nubs, or the role of Nubs, I guess, do you kind of see it as a role, or is it like identity? Do you mind people coming up and be like, hey, Nubs, like, is that?
I love it. Honestly, like, I love it because they come with so much love in their hearts. Like, I am one step away from Fat Mike to them, even though I'm not, but like, if they can't meet him and they're meeting me, it's like almost as cool. Probably should be cooler, but
obviously cooler.
I thought it was cooler.
But I thought it was way cooler.
I put that picture up on Facebook hard. I don't think I got one.
We were like, we just met Nubs.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm texting my friend. I'm like, I'm next to Nub at the Bronx right now. What are you doing?
Cute. I love it. It makes me happy. Like, look at my face. And at first it was cool because I am recognized everywhere. It like, no matter, not just in punk scene, just because I look so different and I have fucking hot pink hair and a ring through my nose and I'm 3 feet tall, So it was cool to know who knew me and who knew me. You know what I mean? So it was cool because at first my real people who knew me as Talli, and my fans knew me as Nubs only. And I didn't really tell my name, and I kind of loved it. Mm-hmm. But then I started doing my speaking, and people were like, especially like more corporate people, you got to brand yourself as Talli Osborne. Like, no more She's Nubs, even though I'm She's Nubs everywhere. All of my things are Nubs, Nubs 416. Like, I'm Nubs. Like, I don't care. Any corporate gig I'm going to go to, there's an NoFX fan in there. Come on.
Right.
So it's just, it is a role, but am the same person in one. I am both people in one. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I'm Nubs and I'm Talli. That I want to touch that fluffy tail so bad.
He's old and he's sick
Oh,
now a
is he-
little bit. Yeah.
Is he a Maine Coon?
Yep, he is.
Love him.
But he's 15, so he's lost a little bit of weight. We're hopefully getting him back. But you see that look he's giving you, the blue steel? Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue steel.
And then, so I started kind of like, you know, branding my tallyosborne.com website and things like that. And people call me Talli now, and it's nice actually. Like I kind of like both. And I can tell who knows me now, but yeah, I don't know. It's cool. And it's funny because this guy that I'm dating, like, he obviously was a fan. He was a fan on my Facebook page, and he commented on something, and I wrote him back, and then we just connected like on a weird, like, universal level. It was weird. We were like, what the, like 10 hours later. But we connected on like a spiritual, like in our hearts, like, you know what I mean? Like it was nothing to do with me being Nubs, but after the fact, once in a while, he's like, I can't believe I'm in love with Nubs. What?
Oh, that's so cute.
My friend's like, that's a red flag. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I am Nubs, and it is okay. You know, like he can be stoked about it.
Yeah.
I don't, he's not.
Well,
He's,
it created this amazing platform for you that you've used.
yeah, I was actually talking about Mike last night, and I told him the story, and he's like, you're obviously going to date punks. And if, like, I'm going to date a punk, and if the punk doesn't like NoFX, then I'm like, and if this person likes NoFX, they're going to know who I am already. So it's not like, are they fetishizing it? Is that the only thing they want? That's a different story. Been there too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But I can tell it's not that, but it's just cute. And he's like, oh my God, my friends are I'm going to keep you to myself for a little while, but my friends are going to lose their mind. So
Yeah.
I've never been with a Nubs fan or like NoFX fan before. And I was kind of like, I became single last year, like after almost 10 years. So it's weird being single like 10 years later, you know, like it's just a weird world now. I'm not really single anymore, but I was until recently. And I was just like, oh God, it's going to be weird. And even on the dating apps, like I'll match with a guy that I think's hot, and he obviously thought I was hot. And then he goes right away, oh my God, are you Nubs? Like, or are you the girl that this NoFX song? Like that happens so often on the dating apps. And then I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's fine, but it's like,
Yeah, I don't even do the dating apps. I can't. I can't.
I only did it because of the pandemic. Like I was stuck in this apartment.
I'm still holding strong, sis.
Well, yeah, I'm glad that the person that I met wasn't from one of those. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather him be a NoFX fan because we're all NoFX fans, and NoFX fans are rad. So
They are rad. Now, for those who don't know, you do motivational speaking as your profession. So you've actually done a TED Talk too.
Yeah.
I've actually heard that TED Talk. It is holy shit. I kind of put it out there. Like, I'll give you a little bit of my backstory. My uncle is born with brittle bone disease, but the worst kind you can get. So he was only 3 foot, I want to say 3'4".
oh, shorter than me.
Yeah.
I'm 3'5".
3'5". Yeah. So the joke always when growing up was like he started to respect me at 2 because that's the day I became taller than him. But I kind of saw he's always had a humor about it. It's just it's something that for him it's part of him. Growing up, always taught us as the kids that you have to get to know the person. It doesn't matter what they are. But your talk really was a huge focus on, you know, positivity, body image, everything that as a female, just even in the scene is something you need to listen. Like, how does it feel being able to spread your message like that?
It feels fucking amazing. Honestly, I'm so grateful. It's the best. And the fact that people believe in me enough to pay me to come and tell them my story, it's like, it's amazing. And every single time I speak at a school or I speak at a corporate function, there is at least one person, usually female, that comes up to me and says with tears in their eyes, like, thank you. Or if it's a kid, like they've said things like, oh my God, I've always felt like shitty about, or not shitty, but like I felt bad about this thing about me or this thing about me. And because of the story you told about this, I'm like proud of that now and like crying at me, you know, and that is the greatest feeling in the world. I'm so grateful. And, you know, I was kind of like, I was always fighting like the fact that people saw me as inspiration, and it is still a thing, like inspiration porn. But I came to this realization one day that there's so much negativity and hate in the world that if I am getting up and going to the grocery store, or if I'm going and singing in a band, that's going to inspire you to either live your life to the fullest or get off your ass and do something rad. That is a good thing. Like, why are people looking at it as a negative? We all have to find inspiration somewhere, and hopefully multiple places. And if I am that person for people, oh my God, I'm like, it's the best. So I kind of just, something switched in my mind, and I turned it positive, you know, because it can be negative. Like, wow, you're amazing. And I'm just like buying groceries. You know what I mean? So it's like, if I look at it like I'm just getting groceries, or I'm putting on my coat, it gets a blizzard outside. I'm not amazing for putting on my coat. But if that makes you feel good, if it makes you feel like something positive, then I'm not going to take that away from you. That's amazing. And we all should be putting positivity into the world, because like I said, like, especially these days, OMG, there's like so much horrible hatred. And if I can help even 0.001% of putting positivity in the world, then I'm going to embrace that. And then, yeah, after that, I was just kind of like, maybe, like, I've always loved entertaining. I sang in a band, and like, maybe people have said to me before, you should be a speaker. And I'm like, cliche, you know? And then I was like, I can do this, but do it rad, like still be punk and still make people laugh. And it's not a sob story, my story. It's funny and it's touching, and people relate to the stories, you know? So yeah, I'm really glad that I had that weird epiphany where my mind switched from hating that people were inspired by me to kind of embracing it.
Yeah, it really starts here.
Yeah.
As to happen.
Yeah, we all, like, almost every aspect of our lives, like, we can turn it, like, look at it as negative or look at it as an opportunity. And I know there's lots of bad things happening to people right now, and everyone's in a dark place, and I get that. But like, for me, the quarantine was really hard. And I was like, I went from like having a family to being alone, like literally no friends for 3 months. And because my ex that I was with had daughters. So like, it was just like, whoa, what is this? And I was like, I was like, all of a sudden my positivity was like fading, and I was like, oh God, no, it's who I am. It's like my identity and my brand. And I was talking to this guy that I know in Oakland, and he was like, oh, doing a second workout, you know, and we kind of just kept each other company during the quarantine, because we were both by ourselves. And I was like, workouts. And I was like, I need to take something positive from this. I don't know what it is, because every avenue that you think about, this pandemic is horrible. Everything about it is horrible. And one day I was just like, I was like, I need something positive, like, for me to survive this. And that's when I was like, I'm gonna get fit. That's what I'm gonna do. And like, cause he was like working out a lot, and I started hula hooping every day. Like no matter if I was feeling like garbage, or if I was feeling wonderful, or if I was feeling tired, I hula hooped for 20 minutes every day. And it made me feel good. You know, it made me feel like there was something to get up for, and I found something positive. And of course I still hate this pandemic more than anything, but I'm noticing like little positive things, like connecting with people from afar that you wouldn't have really connected with, and becoming close. And like, you guys, you know, we've hardly met each other, but you guys are all really good friends. Obviously you have this amazing thing together, and you live in different parts of the world, and the internet's an amazing place. So absolutely, yeah, it took me a bit to find the positive. I mean, it's usually my superpower. Like, I can do it naturally. It's just kind of the way I'm wired, which I'm really grateful for. I have to work on it. Don't get me wrong. It's not that easy, but like, sometimes it is. And it was a really nice feeling where I was like, okay, I can, and I wasn't looking to lose weight or anything. It was just like something I could put positive into my day. you know, and just kind of like hula hoop to all these cool, and I was really stuck on female punk. I was like, I don't know why. I hardly listen to NoFX. I hardly listen to Bad Religion. Obviously, I love these bands, but I'm like, Dancehall Crashers, Blondie, I can't.
Dancehall Crashers.
Stop!
Damn.
I don't know what it is, but there's something in it that I just like, all I want to hear is females singing at me, and it's inspiring and amazing. So.
And so I've seen some of your videos too, and like you could tell like your body's getting into the music more than actually like the hula hoop, it feels, because like it kind of starts and then like the move just starts going and the music just hits you, and like you can tell it's like it shifts, like it's
it's fun. Yeah. And I recently I was like, I kind of wanted to challenge myself, so I told my followers, like, you think I can hula hoop to the decline in its entirety?
That was,
I was like, no. People were like, some of these assholes are like, you can't do it, not possible. I'm like, okay, we shall see.
Tell me I can't do something.
Right? Come on. And yeah, so if you haven't seen it, check it out. I'm very proud of that video. I worked hard on it, and I did it in one take. My friend's like, maybe we should do. I'm like, no, that's not the point. The point is, can I do it? And that is, oh, that song doesn't end. No. Like you'll see my face in it, like laughing. We're like, you know the decline. You just think it's over, and then it's not over for like another 10 minutes. So funny.
I can't hula hoop at all. Like
really?
I never learned to. No, I can't do it.
I teach you. You need a big hoop. That's why big hoops are easier.
Okay.
Funny thing is, all the entire pandemic, I hooped with a big hoop, and then, not to spoiler alert, but I had a special plan for my video, which you'll see when you watch it. But that made me have to hoop with a small hoop, and I borrowed this special hoop from my friend, and she's like, I don't know, Talli, and I tried it for like 2 minutes. I was like, oh God, because the smaller the hoop, the harder, because it's faster. The bigger hoops, you can just kind of hoop, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So it was a challenge because it was a way smaller hoop than I was used to. And it didn't really have grip on it. My hoop has grip on it. So yeah.
I did not know there was so many different type of hula hoops.
There are. It's pretty cool.
I've been cheating. My kids have this one with water inside, and it feels like the, I don't know, Rolls Royce of hula hoops. Like it just moves perfectly. It's probably the only way I could hula hoop because, yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, those water ones are weird. I think they're meant to help kids like learn how to do it.
Or me.
Or
maybe those are the ones that I need. A large one filled with water. Got it.
It's a good starting point. Now, how's kind of COVID going? Toronto is sadly going up in cases again.
We were doing so well, and there was hope, and then they let us do too many things.
So many things.
Open schools, and like, I'm like, oh man, like, of course I want to do all the things. I want to do all the things all over the place with everybody. But I didn't, obviously. I did everything safe, but not everybody did. And there was even things I was doing that I was allowed to do. You know, you can go to an outdoor party with this many people. And I did it, and I'm like, this does not feel safe. You know?
Yeah.
You're sitting way too close to me. I have to go home. You know, it's like, we're allowed to do this? Why?
Right.
I don't know. It makes me scared. But I want to live life. Like, literally, I just live life to the fullest every minute of the day. And this was really hard for me because everything was stripped from me that I love doing, including my speaking, my shows, like my singing, like everything, seeing my friends, going out for dinner, and same with you guys. But it was just like, how am I supposed to live life and enjoy it? It's hard. Yeah. And there was some moments. I've never had issues with mental health, gratefully. There were some moments where I'm like, oh, this is what depression feels like. Interesting.
I feel that too. Because I struggle. It's not something I usually struggle with, but there's been times lately.
I've never used the term depression. Go, oh, I'm depressed. No, you're not. Depression is a real thing.
Right.
But I've never used that term. I'll say, oh my God, I'm bummed, or like, oh, I'm having a shitty day.
Right.
But there was a couple moments, and of course they were layered with PMS. Let's be honest. The PMS was strong during quarantine. What is this feeling? It was weird. It was like all of a sudden my mental health was not I was like, I've never had issues. And now I know what people deal with. Like it's obviously on a smaller basis, but
Right.
I think a lot of people, and there's been so many suicides lately. Oh my gosh. I don't know where you guys live, but like in the past couple of weeks, I'm like, and just overdoses. And I'm like, oh my God, so many good people, you know?
And I just have a feeling that like with the cold weather coming and, you know, going into like another wave of lockdowns, I don't think it's going to be good for anybody. I think it's going to get even worse. So I think it's important now more than ever that we're.
Well, I don't think we're going in with the same mentality the second time either, because we're all drained.
Yeah.
You know, we had a little bit of positivity.
We were like, hey, we can do this. We just got to stay in our apartments for a week, you know, and at the beginning we thought it was like a week. And then it's just like kept going and you're like, oh, okay. It's a bit a month. Oh, 2 months. Like, and now a lot of people who believe don't now, because it is one of those weird things. Like when you haven't seen it firsthand, you're like, is this real? I don't think like that at all. I know it's real. It's terrifying. But there are those people like that. And yeah, I've been dreading this winter, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, it's gonna be bad. Especially because I'm alone. Like I actually love living alone, but I always surround myself with good people. You know, I have people over for dinner, we watch movies, snuggle on the couch, and, you know, now it's like, oh God, I've been taking so many natural things lately. I'm like, oh my God, give me all the vitamin D. Like,
I know, I got my sad lamp just on blast right now every morning. I need it.
I just ordered one because there was 2 weeks of like dark rain, and I had a headache all day, every day for 2 weeks. And that does not make you feel like your mental health is like, oh God, this is the worst. And my friend, Jax, she was like, I'm ordering one. Do you want me to order you one? I'm like, oh my God, yes. So she hasn't delivered it yet, but I'm feeling okay because we've had some sunshine. And I'm overdosing on the vitamin D. No, I'm not overdosing, but she told me you could actually take like up to 4,000 UI. Usually I take just one pill, which is 1,000. And I started taking 4,000 and I actually noticed a difference, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's studies out there with like, there's a reason why they call it the sunshine vitamin, because
yeah, I'm excited to try out my she goes, try it with a bikini on and let me know if you feel like on the beach. And I said to her, wouldn't a nude beach be better? She laughed. She's like, actually, do I have to put a bikini on? I live alone.
That's right. And nude beaches are always better in theory than in actual.
Actually, I go to beaches. I love them.
Yeah. Oh, it's all. I always say you feel awesome because there's always someone that looks way worse than you.
Okay. Like, and no one cares.
Nobody cares. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm lucky that we're right on a beach on the coast here, so I'm in a beach tent.
Lucky.
Yeah, if you ever want to come visit, you call me up and I'll just take you to the lighthouse. We'll go walk the beach, beautiful boardwalks. But yeah, I am there.
You up on that?
Yeah. So kind of any projects that you're working on now? What's going on actually with Taliban?
Taliban is dead.
Oh.
I have a giveaway for some Taliban t-shirts that I found. I was like, I'm going to give these away.
I just saw that right before we hopped on, actually.
I tagged these ladies in it.
But I've actually been writing some music with these guys in Nashville, actually.
Ooh.
Remember I said I've been talking to people that I don't know, right, and then good friends, like this guy in Nashville, Rob, like we're like so close. Like he checks in on me every day. I talk to him more than I talk to most of my friends here. So weird. And then his twin brother, they're both so hot. We're on FaceTime one day having like a band meeting, and I just started laughing. They're like, what? I'm like, this FaceTime, it's too hot. Like our band photos, like I was getting ridiculous. I was like, our band photos are going to be insane. They started laughing at me. Yeah, they're cool guys. So we've just kind of been like brainstorming stuff, and I've been writing a little bit of lyrics, and I'm like, now is the time we can start bands with people all over the world. It doesn't matter that we're not together.
It's true.
No, and when I first talked to Rob, because I'm like, I'm dying to start a new band. Like, it's the one thing that's in my life that I miss more than, like, I love speaking, but I love singing 10 times more.
Sure.
And I kind of joked, like, we should start a band, but I was hundo P joking. And then he goes, we should. Let me talk to Nat. And I was like, what? And then he called me. He's like, Nat is down. And I was like, what? I was kind of kidding. How does this happen? You guys live over there and I live here. He's like, doesn't matter. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So yeah, that's going to happen. We don't have a name yet, but right now it's Nubs and her sexy studs.
Love it.
Doesn't need anything else.
Nope.
I called our group that and they loved it. It's hilarious. I'm like, well, that it is what it is.
Now I'd love to see.
I kind of hope that name sticks. Not gonna lie, it's funny.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Now, you're singing like it's punk, but kind of what kind of range is it usually? I'm sorry, I can't say. I actually knew the fact that you were a singer, so I really apologize for that fact. I actually just found out a couple days ago, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta go listen to this shit. I gotta check this out. But it's like I'm always discovering stuff. I'm also from different Canada, so things come to me a bit slow.
Different Canada. Different Canada.
So when I had the Talli band, my voice was it was kind of higher. I sing, I don't scream. Like we had a lot of harmonies. It was really beautiful. Then I had this vocal issue, like an issue with my vocal cords, where I had an infection on my vocal cords. And, I lost my voice for like 2 years. It was really bad. And I was like a professional speaker. I was like, oh God, people are flying me around. I'm like, oh, like taking Ricola, like they're.
I'm actually going through that right now, so I understand.
Well, yeah, your voice is raspy like mine.
Yeah.
So, and I never used to have a raspy voice. And
Me either. It's actually my original voice is pretty high pitched.
wow, mine too. So I got rid of this infection and then my voice never went back. And it's getting better. I did do some vocal exercises. So they're like taught me how to like I have to retrain. It's like, it's almost like physio for your vocal cords. And, you know, my voice is a bit higher than it was when I had the infection, but my voice is now raspier and it's when I sing, it's lower. The side note story is that when I, you know, started hanging out with NoFX and stuff, I asked Fat Mike if I could sing Linoleum with him at a Toronto, LA New Year's Eve. And he was like, Linoleum? Let's do Laurie Myers. I'm like, I can't do Laurie Myers justice. Not happening. So he let me sing like the last part of Linoleum. I'm like, is that on my YouTube? I don't know if it's on my YouTube. I don't think it's on my YouTube. You know, that's me on the beach side, like that whole part, he let me sing. And then I did it again. And then I got a vocal infection and then my vocal cords are fucked in. Then now I have a deep voice. And like, it's so deep now. Like if I talk normally, it's like so deep. If I accentuate and I can go higher, but it's like when I sing, I'm like, oh, but I kind of like it now. And so I was at a show in Quebec City a couple of years ago and we're backstage and I hear Hefe say, who's going to sing? I don't know what he said, but all I heard was, Nubs is going to sing Laurie Myers. And I was like, no, I'm not. Yeah, okay, yeah. And he told the other guys, like, yeah, Nubs is going to sing Laurie Myers, get a mic stand. And I was like, I'm not singing it. He's like, you're singing it. And then I was like, you could do this, Talli. You can do this now. I felt like my vocal cords were training for this.
Right.
You know? And I was like, I don't know the lyrics. He's like, you know the lyrics. I'm like, Steve, you need to print out the lyrics. You need to print out. Like I was freaking out because like singing Laurie Myers is a big deal. You cannot butcher that shit. You cannot butcher that shit. You butcher that shit, I'm going to be mad at you. And people are going to be mad at me. So I was like, Steve, you need to print these lyrics for me. And then by the time there was time, I was like, I don't need lyrics. Like I was like, you know, I can do this. And not to toot my own horn, but I fucking killed it. Like I was so proud of myself. Like I can't say that very often. It was my vocal cords. I was so grateful for that infection because I don't think I could have done it before. So to talk about vocal range, that's my story. I used to be a soprano. Now I'm like probably an alto, but I think my new band's going to sound more dirty and more rad than my.
I might even be a tenor at this point, to be honest.
Oh my God. Your voice is definitely deeper than mine. You could be a tenor. Yeah. So I don't know. I have no clue what this new band's going to sound like because my voice it's a different voice now. Like people say, oh, it's sexy. I'm like, I understand raspy voice is sexy, but it's not my voice. So it's hard to hear it coming out of my mouth. You know how it is, Brie. Like, yes, super sexy too. It's like, whoa, you know, but it's not my voice. I know my voice. And because my voice is my art, I speak, I'm a singer, I want to do voice work. It's like, oh man. So I'm learning to work with this voice now, and I think I like it. I'm excited to see what this new band
It's
sounds.
funny that you called it a sexy voice, because when you actually went to your normal voice, the first thought I was like, oh, I like that. But
Yeah, I
then
know.
I'm like, I don't think I'm going to say that, because that's probably weird. Never get a guest here again. But then you said it, so I'm okay.
Well, it's funny, like they're both my normal voice. I think this is my normal voice because with my voice coach, we went back to listen to a video I made like in 2000, and I was like, oh, my voice was like even higher than when I'm talking, but it was kind of like this. But if I just like, hey, how's it going? Like, it's really raspy. Do you hear it?
Yeah,
It's
my friends call it my customer service voice because I'll like bring it like more upbeat and like higher pitched when I have.
I think too, I've been talking a lot on this podcast. Like, I'm really excited and I'm telling a lot of stories. So I think my vocal cords are getting strained too. I'm just going to take a sip of water. Speaking of that.
Yeah, there are days where I can't even talk I can talk, but you can't hear me at the end of the day.
Like I can feel it's more raspy than it was before. Hold on a second. Are we back? Oh, we're back. There we go.
Yeah, and right now,
The annoying part is that I hate that feeling. We go to talk and then it's like, oh, what is in there?
and we're kind of stuck in that weird fall where everything's just kind of floating. Like, normally we have snow by now, or at least I do. Toronto takes a little bit longer, but.
And the allergies are weird right now too.
The allergies have been terrible this year.
Yeah, and then you cough and sneeze and people are like, oh.
And I'm like, no, just a pothead, relax.
I swear it's an allergy.
Now, kind of going into what maybe post-COVID, do you kind of have a prediction as to what that would look like?
I think it's going to be weird. I think I'm excited to go to my first show, but that is going to be weird. Can we go to shows like we used to? I'm like, we all have this hope for like when this is over. You know, it's like when the pandemic's over. And it's like, well, I used to have that hope. Now I just feel like it. My friend in Oakland kept saying like the new reality. And I was like, no, it's a new temporary reality. It's not new. It's just temporary. That was in like April. And now I'm like, I think it's a new reality. Oh, like, I think shows are going to happen again. Of course, everything's going to happen again, but it's going to look differently. And that makes me sad because shows were so perfect.
Well, I'm a couple hours out from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I'm watching venue after venue just close their doors. So I'm not even sure where we're going to have shows when we get to that point.
I guess they're going to have to, people that have money are going to see opportunity and open new ones. I don't really know. Like, it's really scary. A lot of, like in where I live, it's all small businesses and wicked restaurants that like literally the person in there who's cooking wanted to open a restaurant and, you know, small businesses. And it's so sad. I'm trying so hard to support everyone local, you know. I get takeout and I cook a lot, but food. I always say food, sex, music. I don't know if that's my order, but those are my three.
Just
like,
roll into it.
Yeah, all in one. That sounds amazing. Love food so much, and it's just I don't want to see these amazing restaurants, these passions close. And it's nice to be able to support people with masks. Like I only buy masks from people who are making them with their hands, and like the money's going literally to them in their pocket. That's nice, and people who didn't do that before are now making money doing that, and it's great. But I don't really know if I answered your question. I don't really know where it's going to go. I think it's going to go in a positive direction. That's for sure. It has to. The vaccine that they're talking about sounds promising. My toes are crossed. I think we're going to have to wear masks for a really long time, which I'm fine with, even though you take away my mouth and I'm kind of screwed, but whatever. It's like I learned how to do so many things with like these, my mouth and my chin.
Yeah.
It took away my mouth and my chin, and I'm like, what are these nubs doing? I'm like, damn it, it's hard. I had to relearn how to do things. Like, had to relearn how to go to the grocery store, and had to relearn how to pull my V's out and pay for something without my teeth. Still hard.
Yeah.
And like,
Crazy. I didn't even think of things like that.
well, it's funny, at the beginning of the quarantine, some of my friends were reaching out like, hey girl, let me know if you need groceries. Hey, let me know if you need groceries. And I'm like, why is everybody treating me so weird? I get my own groceries. They know I can get my own grocery. Like, I really had that, like, why are they asking me that? It's nice, but like, I don't understand. And then I pictured me in the grocery store. I'm like, oh, I pulled the chips off the shelf with my actual teeth. Okay. No, I can't put chip bags in my mouth anymore. So like I didn't even, because I forget sometimes that I'm different. I forget that I do things differently sometimes. And because I just go to the grocery store like you do, and I come home and I cook dinner. And I'm like, oh, I can't put that bag in my mouth and touch it with my tongue. Like, things touch my tongue that I don't even, like when I just kept picturing pulling a chip bag off the shelf on the corner of the chip bag. And then like the corner is in behind my teeth. Like, I'm like, oh gosh, no, that's not happening anymore. My friends bring me groceries, and I order online, and it's an adjustment. And then the grocery get dropped off, and then I pull them out of the bag with my teeth. I'm like, oh, come on. It's been a challenge, like, where I do things where I'm like, oh, well, that just happened. Like, I'm very grateful that I haven't got sick, because I try my best, but that's why I didn't leave my apartment for 3 months. Like, my mom and even a couple of friends were like, Talli, you should probably go outside. I'm like, I had this in my mind, like, if I don't leave, I won't get it. That's it. I don't have to leave. And I didn't for 3 months. Yeah. And I do have a balcony. I didn't go out there a little bit, but I don't know. I just knew that I might slip up. Like, I pushed the elevator button with my face. And of course I changed my methods, but there are still times I push the elevator buttons with my face, because it's just natural for me. Just like it is for you to push it with your finger. So I do go out now. But I wear a mask, and I push it with the top of my crown of my head. So I feel like if there's any germs, it's like, it has to travel very far.
True.
I'm a visual person, so I picture all the COVID germs on the top of my head. And I'm like, are they gonna really get to my mouth? I don't know.
Well, I realized I touch my mouth a ton and didn't even realize it. Me
too.
Yeah, I'll get in the car and I'll light up a cigarette, and I'm just like, oh my God, Brie, like, you should have put hand sanitizer on first, like, just, you don't think about it.
Watch your big light up fingers.
Yeah.
Living dangerously,
It's crazy time. I think we're getting used to it. I think we're getting better at it. Like, I don't leave the house without a mask. Like, there's always one on me at all times. And I figured out how to put it on real quick now. Like, outside the store, I don't have to put it on, like, right at my house. At first I was like, how am I going to even put it on? I live alone. So I had to master putting it on. And then I mastered it. Like, I have a scooter. So I mastered it, like, on the scooter. So I could do it like on and off, like, when you go to a park and you can take it off at a park, but then you want to put it back on again. And so it was a lot of practice. I've learned some skills.
There you go.
No,
you think it's going to be hard to unlearn all of these habits that we're now picking up once it's all over? Like, do you think there's just always going to be people that just continue to wear masks in public?
Oh, and I don't think that's bad. I think it's funny. I remember a lot of in Toronto, around Chinatown, like, a lot of Asian people would wear masks, and I'd be like, why are they wearing masks? And if you really think about it now, forget about COVID, but in this moment, but I'm talking just, you have a cold, why wouldn't you put a mask on to protect everyone around you from that cold? Like, they were onto something, the people that I would see. And I think we should, like, when this pandemic is over and we have a vaccine and all that, I think we should put you're not feeling well, put a mask on. We've done it. We did it for this long. You can do it for the 2 days you feel a tickle in your throat, or I think we're all going to be thinking more consciously and thinking more about other people, because there has been positives about this. Like, people are thinking about other people more. Strangers have reached out and asked me if I need groceries. Like people on my Instagram, and I'm like this woman, I follow some vintage accounts, and this woman, I was buying something from her, and she's like, I'm actually going to the grocery store before. Do we need any groceries? And I was kind of like, I kind of do. Is that weird? And she's like, no, I'd love to get you. I'm my heart grew 2 sizes that day. Like this stranger who I'd never met, he was going to drop off a piece of something I purchased at my door, brought my groceries, and I was already going to e-transfer her money. So yeah, I think it's done some beautiful things. It's also killed a lot of people and made people really sick. So I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I think like when we come out of this, I'm hoping that the world will be a little bit better, more conscious, more generous, you know?
Yeah, humanity's really come out during this time. You can really pick out those who care versus, and you know, something as simple as wearing a mask tells you everything you need to know about how they feel about the whole versus just themselves. And it's,
yeah. The anti-maskers, oh, don't even get me started on that. It's like, put a mask on. It's not that hard.
It's not a big deal, even.
My friend who has one lung, he does videos often. He's like, I have one lung. Like, fucking put a mask on, you know? Like, he tries to put in perspective because people don't think, like, even when I said about putting a mask on and not being able to pay for my groceries, like, you're like, oh my God, I didn't think of that. I'm like, I know, right? Like, I didn't even think of it at the beginning. And like, my mom is super immune and she has like lung disease. Like, it's terrifying. Anybody I know that has like compromised immune or compromised lungs, it's like, oh God, stay inside. But our mental health is important too. And that's what I'm telling myself when people make me feel, oh, you're seeing a lot of friends. It's like, I live alone. I am an extreme extrovert. I'm not just an extrovert. You can tell I can't stop talking to you guys. I'm a big extrovert and I'm very affectionate. That's the part that's killing me. I am like the most affectionate person you've ever met. If we were all hanging out right now, I'd for sure be touching one of you. Like, not sexually, but like,
Sure.
we'd be really close, or my foot would be on your knee. Like, that's just who I am. My friends, even, like, I'm just always touching, and like no touching. And I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, like I'm talking beginning of March, like, you know, when it first happened, well, when we first were aware of it happening, my mom said to me, Talli, no hugging, no kissing, no hugging, no kissing, not even friends. And I thought that was funny, you know? And I kissed my friend on the cheek that day. Like, it was like March 12th. It was like, we had no clue.
uh-huh.
And then like 2 weeks later, I was like, oh my God, she wasn't kidding. You know? Like, you know, moms are always like over the top with things, and they're protective, right? And the fact that I haven't hugged my friends in this long, it breaks my heart. I miss it so much. Like, one of my best friends popped by today and we hung out, and then she left. Like, and I was like, we didn't even hug. And like, her and we hug, you know? And it's like, ugh, I don't know why I'm going on this tangent, but it just makes me sad. I miss hugging. It's like being close to people, and I still smile with my mask on, you know?
Smile with your eyes.
Yeah.
I just like being with people, and yeah.
Yeah, I made the cardinal mistake the other day introducing myself to, and one of my kids made a new friend, I guess, and I guess the other mom knew her, so she introduced me, and I stuck my hand out, and the first thing she said to me was, oh, we're doing that now, and lightly, like, and I didn't even clue in. I was just like, oh shit. And of course there's kids around me, and I said, oh shit, right in front of all of them.
Please.
I was like,
when we were first, sorry to interrupt, sorry, I didn't.
No, it's all right.
The Zoom, sometimes you can't tell if someone's done talking until you start talking. When we were first allowed out, you know, when we were like, you know, you can go for walks, you know, when they made the first like new stage of rules.
Yep.
I went down to my favorite street, and I just went, I don't know why I went there, but I was just scooting around to get fresh air, and it's my favorite street. And I saw my tailor, who's actually a really cool, nice guy. So he's not just my tailor, but he is only my tailor. I only know him from tailoring my clothes. And he kissed me right on the cheek with his lips. I felt the moisture here. And I was like, Monty, you can't do that. He's like, what? I'm like, you can't be kissing people right now. Kissing. Like, I've had people hug me without asking permission. And it's like, Now it's so nice. Like, can I hug you? And it's like, yeah. Or I don't feel comfortable. Like if we're wearing masks, it depends on the person, but
Sure.
I couldn't believe my tailor. Like he's not even my friend, but he's that guy, you know, hey girl, you know? And I was like, I felt it. I felt like, you know, the moisture, like I was
like sucking in almost.
yeah. And a couple weeks before that, it was the first day we were allowed out. The first day. It was my friend's birthday, and like just a few of us got together in a backyard, like distanced, really good. We were doing great. And this guy came up to me and hugged me, and I felt his lips touch my shoulder, like, you know, when you hug, and I felt the moisture again. And I said to my best friend, I'm like, Jackie, like, can you, I felt them lips. I feel the saliva. It's still there. And she's like, sanitizer, because I don't really use it. Like, I don't need hands. So it's like, where am I all over my body? So she like got me some sanitizer, and I was like, doot, 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 doot. No, and you don't want to get mad at people because they're just living their lives and they just want to hug. And
I had just offered to take a picture for a couple because they were like trying to do like the weird awkward selfie, and I was just standing there waiting for my friend, and I was like, do you want me to take that for you? And she was like, I would love that, but I'd rather you not touch my phone. And I was like, duh, you know, because I didn't even think
that was me too. I handed my phone to my friend, the one who was here today, but back in, you know, it was we were in quarantine, but it was my first time going for a walk when people were like, Talli, go outside, it's beautiful. So her and I went on like a super distance date hangout, and I was like, can you take a photo of me, like just to be like, hey world, I went outside. And I handed her my phone, and I was like, oh come on, because I like 100% pick up my phone with my mouth every day. And I realized, I'm like, I can't let people touch my phone anymore, because that thing I put in my mouth, like, it's how I pick it up. I pick it up and then I put it on my shoulder, but that's how I pick it up. So it's weird because, you know, you're like, hey, can you grab my phone, or can you take a photo of me? And it's like, yeah, it's just a lot of learning. I think we're doing great, but some people aren't trying hard enough, and some people are really trying. So.
And then there's people like me that are just oblivious. They're like, hey, I'll take your picture.
Yeah. You just want to take their picture. You're just
right. I just saw them struggling. I just wanted to help.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope that this vaccine, whenever it gets here, so far good. You know, there's a lot of positive reviews or positive studies coming out of this. Like I said, I will take 4 of these bad boys.
Put it wherever you want.
Yep. I got 2 big old butt cheeks. I don't have any.
2.
So I can't go here. I'll go straight to my heart. But
I got both. I don't have any arms, and I have really short legs, but I got tits and ass, so I think I win.
yeah, I'm just right in there. Well, Talli, I definitely, our hour sadly is up, but I want to say a huge thank you for coming on today. An absolute joy for us.
Yeah, this was a blast. I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
I had fun too. You know what the problem is that when I have this much fun, I think, oh gosh, what did I say? That's what I think about after. And I was already thinking that like a few minutes ago. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm too comfortable. This happens because I'm like, I'm very authentic. So whatever I want to say comes out of my mouth. But then later I'm watching it. I'm like, oh God, what was I talking
about? I do it every week, girlfriend. I understand.
Did I say anything that
no,
I shouldn't?
You're awesome.
No, it was great.
I love you.
That was really fun. Like, you guys are awesome. I hope we can get together one day. I know we all live all over the place, but well, Terry, I'm coming for you in that beach.
We want pictures when we're able to do that for sure.
We're gonna get all the sand and all the craws, I promise.
I want it. I want it all.
I want it all. Now, Talli, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how would they be able to do so for like a speaking gig? Or?
Yeah, you can go to my website. It's talliosborne.com. And also I'm very active on my Instagram too. So people love Instagram, and so do I. I'm on there a lot. And all my social media platforms are all Nubs416. So you can contact me. If you, for speaking, it would be through my website would be best. There's a little contact form on there. But yeah, I always write people back on Instagram. So talk to you then. And check out my giveaway, because I'm going to give away some awesome t-shirts.
No.
I'm going to get that one and look and see what it was.
What'd you say?
I said, because I saw it right before we sat down with you, and I like had a mental note to go back and look into it. So I will be.
Awesome.
All
Well, it's
right,
nice to meet you guys.
You
For
too.
sure.
Thank you.
That was
Thank you
great.
so much.